Good morning, everybody. This is Tikwe, also known as Richard, and today we're coming back to you with a cast game of a 3v3 with the Holy Roman Empire, showing you exactly what the build order looks like, how to get a really fast Imperial, and also just what the strengths are in this type of matchups. We're playing on Hillendale, and we have some, really nice friends with us. Jamaica here, Ragnarok is on our side, and Conquistador, Duke, and Farrelly on the other enemy side. You can see we got a nice little spawn here. So we're going for 6 immediately on the sheep. Immediately starting with prelates into villagers. So I'm gonna just close this down so I can show you guys exactly what happens here. Obviously your scout is going around. Check your immediate base. You can see here just around the base there's one here, one there. Just a little loop around the base will already give you enough sheep to start with, and then usually around the corners here. There we go, just around the edge of the corners there. You can see there's a few stray sheep here down the middle. Again here, so if you just divide the map up in this little tree line that you can expect down here, but rotating down like the corners here, you'll find quite a lot of sheep after doing that little rotation. So what I usually choose to do is, if I know it's like an aggressive team like what you find here, it's the French and the English on the sides. Here it's the English on the enemy side, another French player. So they are known for rushing early. So we want to kind of avoid getting rushed. But we're going for a very fast Imperial here. You can see the Imperial official is on the villagers, but what I also do is you don't send villagers straight from here to the gold mine. You inspire the villagers first, and then you send those villagers over to the gold, which means that the villagers that you send over are still inspired, and if you can look here, they won't return 10 resources, they'll return 14, because that inspiration buff makes them keep that buff of carrying more, even though they work at standard speed. These villagers work 40% faster. So I'll show you here. You can see we picked up quite a few sheep. I didn't do a proper loop here, so I missed a few right here. But we're going for a forward scout now to just make sure we have enough sheep to keep this flowing, and getting the gold in. I see sometimes it's almost better to go with 4 on gold, because you can see right now it's just quite far from the base. But because we have more, we're starting to go over to wood, and you can see on the other villager side they're pretty much doing the same thing. We're probably not going to be first when it comes to, you can see there the landmark Mijnwerks Palace for the Holy Roman Empire goes up. The English hasn't done theirs yet. French hasn't done theirs yet. I think this is a China player, correct? Haven't started yet. And this is an English player, also haven't started yet. So we would go up very shortly, but you can see how much more food we have. Also, I'm not training villagers, so keep the villagers up in queue. Don't waste any resources, especially when you have the sheep and the advantages like you do right here. I think I was focusing way too much on the scout, trying to find the sheep, but if I can just a little bit down more, you would have seen a much better find with regards to the sheep. You can see I pick up a stray sheep right here. But I know in the early game, if you get a really nice food supply, you wouldn't have to transition into other forms of food. So because my food kind of ran out here, I decided to speed build my Arkan Chapel. And I wanted to make sure this is away from the town center. So I have some room here for farms. And then my other farms would be in this vicinity, allowing me to get that inspiration buff that these villagers have, which makes them, there you can see, gather resources 40% faster, and they have the extra capacity from the inspiration, which makes them carry 40% more resources. Then on top of that, you can actually get the mill upgrade. Let's just click that mill. You can get the wheelbarrow, and that will increase it by another 5, so essentially 19. Bad placement of houses. Houses probably would have been better here by the gold mine side, but we're just trying to build and speed build as quick as possible. You can see now the scout is starting to find where those sheep are. So I picked up, they're kind of in this vicinity around between these two sheep lines. You can see the scout here also kind of doing the same thing. If I remember correctly, with this game, we also sent the English quite a bit of resources as soon as our market goes up in the second age, because we wanted to help him archer rush. So you'll see shortly we'll put down a market, and with the market you'll have a button here in the top corner that says right here. If I just can draw a little box here, right now, that is for your tributes. So if you build a market, you have to be H2. You can start tributing resources to the other players. So I'll open this up so you can actually have a look here, and please have a look at Jamaica and his resources. So as soon as the market goes up, you'll see quite a jump here in the food and the wood. There we go. And that was just to make sure that he can fast pace these archer productions, because that's what he needs for the longbowmen, to go for an earlier rush into this base. You can see quite a big haul that the guy came back with 12 sheep. That's huge. If you can get that in a team game, it's going to help you so much to reinvest any wood or other resources into food, because you don't have to, you already have all of those sheep, right? So just be cautious of how you're rotating. You can see those few sheep already that I missed here made an effect on the game, because my villagers ran out of food, and then I had to transition kind of into berries and this hunt. But if you look here in the middle, there should be quite a significant amount of sheep still left. Okay, he did get some of those sheep. But yeah, just make sure you get those pathings right. If you start learning the maps, you'll get better at understanding where exactly the sheep spawns and how to get them. In Hill and Dale, usually if you get a side spawn like this, the best is to go forward, get across like this, and maybe train a second scout, especially in team games, and just do a little loop around the base. That will avoid any expansion or wood wastage like you see here. But interesting thing I want you guys to note, right? We're pushing for a fast Imperial age, right? So we have quite a bit on wood, but that was not the focus here. The focus was to reinvest a lot into food. You can see we're sitting on 14 on food, making sure the house productions keep going up. That was a little bit too close to the mold, so I moved it a little bit over. And we have the standard 3 villagers still on gold, not too much on gold. And this is not to rush Imperial like without any protection, but you can see here how well they played as a team, walling off their front to avoid any quick raids. You can see these horses was a perfect counter by the Holy Roman Empire. Really well played with the double stable to actually get this rush off and just deal with any English longbow rush. So all that resources that we send forward to Jamaica is kind of wasted right now because of this forward expansion. He's gonna lose all of that to these horsemen. That's a perfect counter to the archers. So just remember, if you do these type of rushes, especially with the English, you want to make sure that you do have your spearmen with these longbowmen, especially in team games. You're not going to be able to rush this with archers and archers alone. You do need those spearmen. Just take note of that. So with the Holy Roman Empire, you can see we did send Jamaica quite a lot of resources, but we're already getting quite a bit coming in right now. Sitting on the 12 villages on food 11 now, because we're building another mill here. I'm microing the food so we don't have any long travel distance, and then we'll use heavy wood to transition into food. But right now, there we go, more resources sent over to Jamaica, so he has enough wood and food to speed up that production of his units. But unfortunately, because of the loss that he sustained with those horsemen that rushed him, he lost quite a significant amount of food, so all of those resources were wasted. Not ideal. But the best thing here is he's following the reinforcement trail, so he knows English longbowman, the council hall is probably the landmark that he chose, so he's just following where those resources are coming from. But if we walled off here and just closed off any of the forward parts of the base, just a few walls, you can see we do have the resources to do it. It would have made such a big difference to avoid any raiding from the enemy. You know, right now it's getting some information, and you can see on their side how well defended it is. They're going for another wall, and if you're playing the Holy Roman Empire, this is a big thing to note, right? You don't necessarily need to wall off the side here like this to close yourself in and stop you from assisting your enemies. But look at this raid happening now on the English player, just because he wasn't prepared to deal with any of this, because he's only having a barracks come up now and started to train units, but all of these horsemen just interrupted a big part of his economy, maybe picking off maybe 3 or 4 villagers and having all of this idle time happening on his side. So that's very unfortunate, but there you can see we go on to the third age, and I think we'll be one of the first. Richness Cathedral, very equal with Conquistador here. He's also going for the Richness Cathedral. But what you can see what happens right now, while we're building this Richness Cathedral, we'll also be sending forward the imperial officials, or the what do you call it, the prelates. Not imperial officials, that's for China. But we'll send forward the prelates so we can actually get those relics as soon as possible. So we have a relic right here, we have one up here. There you can hear the imperial official coming out. You can see I rallied this one over here because I know the relic is down here. The second one, the town center, is probably going to be rallied down there. So you can see there it's keybind to 2. So if I press 2, you can see the rally points on this relic. There we go. And I think the third one I just usually drop out of the Archon Chapel, and then I just send it straight to the Archon Chapel, so you just have less idle time. But I am speed building this so we can get up as quick as possible. We have a few villagers still on food, so we can keep the food production up. Still increased another imperial official on the gold, so we can actually have that gold income sitting there. There's the third imperial official coming out, and that's probably gonna head down to this one or this one here. But that's the first relic picked up right there. The second one's gonna be picked up very shortly by this prelate right here. And that's the focus for the Holy Roman Empire. You can see we did get it a little bit sooner than the enemy. But if you were to play the Holy Roman Empire with these horsemen, right, the best way or the best thing to have done would have been to take your horsemen and find these forward relics, right, and then send your horsemen to go and defend that. This is also really nice to get these forward walls, but if you get those imperial officials down, or those horsemen down to these forward relics on the enemy side like these ones, that will delay me as a Holy Roman Empire player to get those relics. But you can hear we already have 3 now. One there, I think the other one is almost back here from the side here. We kind of walled them in by accident there. But look how late our walling is happening. They're already starting with stone walls, already almost walled off completely. So this just gives them so much time, because to train siege weaponry and the right military forces to protect them, you know, going for these forward resources, forward military stables, you know, vision, they're playing so well as a team, and that's kind of what you want to focus on if you ever play these team games. It's not about how well you can get into Imperial Age, but how well you can also assist your team. So that's the first relic dropped off. The second relic is on its way, and you can see these Imperial officials are being sent down to try and contest for these relics down here. And how it works: for every relic in your Residence Cathedral, you get 100 gold per minute. But because of it's a Residence Cathedral, it says relics placed within the Residence Cathedral generate 200 gold every minute, holds 3 relics. Another thing with the Holy Roman Empire is, you can see now I'm expanding to wood. buying wood with my gold, because we have quite a significant amount of gold happening right now, and then using that to transition into food. But this is really nice because all these farms within this area will have bonus production. So, you know, another thing to note, if you speed build them with multiple villagers, they'll keep running together like this. It's very inefficient. Rather take one villager and do what I just did, and then right click one of the farms, so they actually start farming food before they you know, build all of the farms first. It's just a little bit of a bug there, but that's okay. So you can see now he's trying to contest. He's sending his prelate forward to try and contest for those relics. We are coming forward, I think. There we go. Trying to come for this forward relic here, and there's another one back here. So we are sending those Imperial officials forward, and what you see now happening, another thing to note, is with your Holy Roman Empire, your villagers can build your outposts, and your outposts is where you can put relics in as well. Places a relic within to generate gold and improve the building's armor, you can see right here, and damage, weapon, range, and sight. So if you put down your outposts, plus you have these 3 relics, you can very quickly obtain a very high amount of gold per minute, because we already have the 2 here. We just picked up that 3rd one right there, and we're going to pick up a 4th one right here. So that's 4 relics for us. Really nice quick rush of relics. I could have done it a lot better if we didn't send these resources over to the English, but you can see he's going for King's Palace, which works as a town center, and the China player obviously always going for the Barbican of the Sun, is going for the Imperial Palace, and also the Astronomical Clock Tower, so he is getting those dynasties up, Imperial Academy, so he's going for the dynasties, making sure he has all the possible upgrades. Very nice defense here with the Shikanu. And the French, the English player here as the 3rd age, but still, as you can see, he has the men at arms now to protect him. Nice little Wololo attempt there. But the English has a really nice defense right now against these horsemen, because he has the spearmen and the men at arms. But it's a little too late for this, because if he had that early, he would have been able to, you know, rush this enemy player just by having a few stables and so on, or a few barracks early on when he was sending all these longbowmen forward. So, you know, very aggressive play from the enemy, very defensive play as well. He has the Royal Institute on the French, plus the Chamber of Commerce. Really nice for team games because he gets the extra trading in. He's trading all the way down here, very safe because he has the walls up. And you can see now we're going for the Palace of Swabia, and we're speed building that as well, because as soon as you get the Palace of Swabia, you are sitting on villager production of 75% cheaper and 75% faster. So you can boom really effectively by getting that Palace of Swabia. If you can see, Conquistador here, he went for a 2nd town center. I think it's only 2 town centers that he has. The one here plus the farms. Actually 3 town centers. So that's really nice from him as well. We can look at the income per minute. His income per minute, we had 1 town center, he had 3. So, you know, he has invested a lot more into wood. But he's sitting on 700 on food, 600 on gold, and because we have these relics secured, you know, 4 relics, 1 in the outpost, 3 in the Regent's Cathedral, that is, and another one here. So we actually managed to pick up 5, and then what I'm doing is I'm pushing the prelates over to, you know, these units, specifically down like where they were farming down here. Just look at this. You just speed build these villagers, right, onto this stone or whatever resource, but compared to the town center, that's only 20 seconds, whereas with the Palace of Swabia, it's 5 seconds, and the food is much less. So you don't almost have to even use this, because this Palace of Swabia works as 3 to 4 town centers just by itself. So really nice to rush that. But you can see the gold per minute that we have. And Duke is sitting on 1,200, but if we go to Duke, he has 16 villagers that has to produce his gold. We have 9, and we're getting the highest gold income per minute in the game. Um, so it's important to note like what to do right here. I think we actually did find another relic. Maybe we picked up that one that was here contested on the English front here, because I did, yeah, there we go, we actually found 6, so really nice relic play, and you would expect us to snowball quite significantly with this type of forward or a heavy investment into these relics. Because we have these 6 relics, it's gonna be a huge gain, and you can see how you can just reinvest or redistribute your resources. So I'm just gonna pause here. And if you look at what's happening right now, we have the production rate, we have the gold income, we have the economy lead by miles, right? I have a tendency to go very heavy into food, like you can see right here, and then into stables, and then rush with the with the elite horsemen. So I'm going to speed up the gameplay here, so you can kind of just have a look at the minimap and see the difference that happens here, right? So this English forward base is a problem for the enemy. They are contesting for the sacred sites. We do have the 4 sacred site right here, and I think the other one is right here. So if you had to start off walling right here, close off like they did already here, kind of wall them in, and then come forward with your military to the middle here, you can fight for these sacred sites, and that would have been really successful. But as you can see, because we have the high gold and high food, we're sitting on 1,500 food per minute and 1,700 gold per minute. You know, and we're sitting on quite a lot of villagers, 107 economy, and most of this is just villagers. So we're getting some stone up, so we can actually start building some keeps, managing our villagers on the wooden lines, and we're transitioning them back to the safe wood here at the back. And then we have our houses for the 200 population. Nothing fancy, right? But this is usually what I do. I go for the stables. You can see because you're not producing one at a time because of the resources, you can essentially produce 20 to 40 lancers or elite knights at a time, and they're already upgraded. And this is without the blacksmith upgrades. So there's the blacksmiths only coming out right now. And then that's going to be the upgrades, like you can see, coming in, so we can train a bit quicker and get those essential upgrades, so we can use these lancers to assist. But I mean, that's only at a 27-minute mark where we started with military production. We went for the double keep here in the front. They also have a keep here in the front. I actually didn't see this going up. And the triple siege workshop, trying to get the wood production up here. You can see there the wood was heavily invested into all these stables, and we did some upgrading, so that's also taking a bit of resources. But now we have these you know, lancers going forward here to assist the English player with their attacks here, trying to get rid of all this siege. You can see it's very heavy siege on the enemy front. They also have the Royal Culverins, so that's being trained by the English College of Artillery. That's these units. They are some of the strongest siege units in the game. And just look at this. We're contesting him with the keep, but we're building it with one villager. He speed built it with 14. So he's trying to get map control, the French player. And I think he was one of the reasons why they won the game, because of his map control. Just very impressive. On the resources per minute, we're sitting on 3,500 food per minute, guys, and that's with 67 villagers. We reinvested into a lot of food, but because they're in the influence circle here, that's where the major food supply is coming from, is from these villagers right here, and the upgrades on the mills. So they have that fully upgraded. You know, look at this, they're bringing back 20 food at a time, 22 food at a time actually. And we have all the necessary upgrades, but now we have the bombards and the elite knights rushing forward to get these defense. And I just want you to ask yourself, if this was you, and you were playing this game, what would be the next best thing? Because you have the wood, you have the gold, it's very easily to reinvest into other resources. With this type of military production, you can quickly get a what do you call it? A landmark up, like sorry, man, I'm forgetting now. What do you call it? Your wonder. Your wonder. Get your wonder of the Great Palace of Flensburg. Get your land. Your um, wonder up. I keep wondering what the word is, but it's called a wonder. Apologies, but yeah, get the wonder up. Get the reinvestment into the right resources, especially when you have this type of economy lead. You know you can keep fighting, because with this type of unit production, no matter what they throw at you, you'll just have this consistent trickle of 20-30 units at a time coming in. So whatever gets lost, you just reproduce, because you have the food and the gold production because of those relics. You don't have to invest into villagers trying to go for gold, because you already have that, because of all those military units, right? So the enemy right now is still looking very stable. No funny business or anything here. They have this fight happening here in the front. The walls are stopping them from rushing, so they need a heavy siege to try and get into these castles. But you can see on our side, you know, how easy it is to siege through these buildings, and how much I want to say resources get lost by the enemy, because ours is just consistent. That's a consistent long-term food supply. And here we try to go for a snipe on the enemy, because they have these walls up. You can see immediately he builds more walls because he wants to keep that defense up. So we see that it's walled off, so we can't really do anything here. Just these standard walls inside the main base, just a big defense that we didn't have. So we keep training our military in. As soon as we have quite a population cap, basically, we then push forward to try and siege down these walls and try and get inside, so we can actually disrupt this military flow. So I'm going to show you this view from this side immediately with the bombards here. Okay, so let's just quickly jump back to that game that we just showed you guys, the costed game. Here you can see we did lose. It was a wonder victory. But this is what I wanted to show you guys. On the economy scale, it's the most gold I've ever done in a game. You know, 120,000 gold and 110,000 food. The closest gold on the enemy, which was also the Holy Roman Empire conquistador, right? On a statistic scale, he only did 50,000 food, 120,000 food, sorry, and 41,000 gold. So with virtually half the resources, they were winning the game, just because of the defensive playstyle that they have. And that's what I want you guys to take away from this. If you're playing the Holy Roman Empire and you want to be successful with them, do invest into the stone, do invest into that defensive playstyle like they did, and then keep focusing on the relics and the food around your residence cathedral, your Ark and Chapel, and that's gonna really help you with a long-term, very consistent high food income per minute. You can see our max food per minute was 3,700 food per minute. No one else was even close to the amount of gold and food that we produced. We basically doubled the amount of gold that happened in their team. So we were very much in a good place to build a wonder and put that extra pressure of the wonder. But unfortunately, it's a bit of an intermediate player mistake from my side. But yeah, we're going to be doing a lot more games in the next few weeks, focusing on the Holy Roman Empire. I have a few upcoming videos specifically on the Scout Rush, and so forth, that I want you guys to check out. So if you like the content, please do leave a like and subscribe, and thank you very much for watching. And just remember to build a wonder, because unfortunately it does help winning team games when you do have this resource lead like we just had right here. I hope you guys have a nice day, and check you guys in the next video. Bye bye.